Hi, lovelies, welcome back. So, this week I want to talk a bit about feedback in the context of the human body because what I've seen for myself lately is we the body is working on our behalf. So, it wants to give us feedback when things are kind of out of whack. And when we don't listen or we don't respect what we're hearing, or we're in denial about what we're hearing, or we override it with our mind, there's so many ways that we ignore or discount what our body is telling us. But those signals are there for our benefit. And so what I've really seen this week is when we ignore the whispers, they become screams. And what I mean by that is, we, being a part of nature, have this inbuilt intelligence, this inbuilt wisdom. And part of that intelligence and wisdom is that when we're thirsty, when we are in need of hydration, when the body is literally like, I need to be more hydrated than I currently am, we get thirst signals. When we're hungry, when we're in need of food, we get hunger pangs. When we're tired, we get sleepy, we start yawning, our energy levels drop. Like, all of this is the way that the body is trying to bring us back to health and trying to take care of us and trying to have the ship run as smoothly as possible. And yeah, we have minds that are full of ideas and stories and socially conditioned norms and expectations and judgments and concepts and beliefs and all of these things that we frequently use to kind of override the natural feedback of the system and just kind of do what our minds tell us to do, which frankly is usually bullshit. So what I really saw this week is that I was overriding the feedback system. I was overriding the controls to the point that if I had listened when it was, just kind of whispers, when it was just kind of the natural common sense thing to do, if I had followed the natural inclinations of what the body was asking for, all would have been fine. But I didn't. So in my case, it was specifically about not factoring in enough rest. I took on a really big project. I've been working at this project all this month. It's been 10 to 12 hour days, basically 7 days a week. And in that, I knew, like, my common sense and my wisdom told me, look, if you're going to be working 10 to 12 hours a day on something, you have to factor in rest. Either rest days, rest evenings, rest mornings, longer sleep to account for it. Like, there's just no other way to do it. And instead, I was like, fuck that. I have a deadline. I want to get things done. Sooner better than later, and bigger is better, and all of these kind of ideas that we've been conditioned. Faster is better, time efficiency, all of that. And so what was interesting for me is I don't drink coffee. I've never been a coffee drinker. And yes, I have a university degree, and yes, I've spent many, many late nights ensuring that I got straight A's in that degree, but that somehow didn't need to make me a coffee drinker. I was perfectly, fine on my 2 cups of tea a day. And what I noticed this past, 10 days ago is that I started needing coffee to get me through the day. Like, I was literally had so low energy and was so tired and so exhausted that I was relying on drugging myself up at the start of the morning to be able to, get myself through the day. And then eventually 1 cup wasn't enough, so I noticed that I would have my morning cup and my afternoon cup, so I'm having 2 cups of coffee a day. And bear in mind that, like, literally 4 weeks ago, if I had a cup of coffee, I would get jittery and shaky, because the system at the time, this is what's so interesting with feedbacks, is at the time when I'm normally well rested and listening to my body and listening to my wisdom, I don't need to take highly caffeinated beverage to bring me up to par or up to balance. Like, I'm already balanced. So when you're already at balance and you take something that's caffeinated, I found myself like jittery and feeling unwell and feeling hyped up and feeling kind of fast and frenzied. And that was because at that time the system didn't need any. So if I'm with a friend and there's a situation where I'm offered coffee to try the taste or whatever, and I had it, it would make me feel off because it wasn't needed, necessary. But because I wasn't factoring in adequate rest, I wasn't listening to my body, I wasn't listening to my wisdom, I was just listening to my mind and plowing through at all costs and just kind of being dominated by these ideas about things have to be done fast and, don't rest until it's over and keep going and, kind of that you can sleep when you're dead mentality. Or in my case, you can sleep when you're on vacation. You just got to get this project done so you can set off. And I totally ignored the fact that I shouldn't need 2 cups of coffee to bring me to just functional, to bring me to what used to be my complete baseline of balance and normal. And that's what I was doing, is I was needing to drink 2 cups. And I know it's not about the coffee, obviously, but it's about the needing to put something in my system to bring myself back to balance, because the fact that I was already so tired and so drained and so exhausted, I wasn't letting myself sleep. I wasn't letting myself go to bed early or sleep in because there's always stuff to do and there's always stuff to wake up early and continue on with. And what happened is a few days ago, I got to the point where I literally couldn't function anymore. Like I had had my 2 cups of coffee and I was out shopping, picking up stuff, and I was at Safeway, and I was literally like, I can't remember. I've been to the Safeway like a million times. I can't even remember where the aisle is that I need. Like my brain just wasn't working, and that's when I realized, oh God, the whisper has become a scream. And there are so many examples of where we just kind of plow through. We just override it. We just ignore the nudges, the whispers, the inclinations, the common sense things. And we get stuck in these ideas we have. And we literally drive ourselves to the point of exhaustion or sickness or craziness or burnout or complete overwhelm or mental and physical breakdown. Like we go past the natural feedback of the system. And for me, it's been a real lesson this week to just realize, like, wow, if I had woken up, but, if I had realized, wait a second, my first 25 years of life never felt the need to drink coffee, and now I need 2 cups a day just to keep myself able to be moving. Like, something's wrong there. But instead I was just like, oh, whatever, everyone drinks coffee, that's normal, maybe that's just part of being an adult, and just plowing through my wisdom to the point that it got to my brain literally just could not function. And it was a huge kind of wake-up call, but like, no, I need to step back and need to take care. And I know that I probably wouldn't need to be taking this, what is now turned into days of recovery, from pushing myself past my physical limitations in terms of exhaustion and energy. Like if I had just listened to begin with, if I had just noticed when it was a whisper, wait a second, this doesn't feel right. This is abnormal for me to be so tired that I need to take a drug of any kind. In this case, it's caffeine. Caffeine's relatively harmless as far as drugs go, but the fact that I need something to bring me back into balance, that should have been a sign that I'm not letting the system rebalance naturally, because the system does rebalance naturally. The system knows how to ask for food when it's hungry, ask for sleep when it's tired, ask for rest when it needs it, ask for water when it needs it, ask for alone time when we need it, ask for social time when we need it. Like everything is built into a natural balance and a natural homeostasis. And when we are not kind of listening to that and recognizing that and aware of that, we just go with what our minds tell us, and we plow through and we override the system, much to our detriment. Because like I said at the beginning of the video, the body is always on our side. It always, always is. So we can listen to it when it's gently nudging us to, sleep in an extra 2 hours or go to bed 2 hours earlier, give ourselves a Saturday off or a weekend off or, 3 days off, whatever we need. Or we can ignore it until the point where it says, okay, I'm literally going to start shutting down your mind for a while until you listen. And, I just see this so often with people, with myself, with my friends, that we kind of think that we're invincible. We kind of think that we can just go, 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 go until we get sick, or until a relationship crumbles, or until we experience, something that kind of puts the brakes on. It's our system putting the brakes on. Migraines, stress, anxiety, just, mental, physical breakdown, just anything, and any way we phrase it, because all of these things mean different things to different people. But there's something where the system just says, enough is enough. We're not doing it like this anymore. And that's, of course, what happened to me last night. But I, know that if I had just kind of listened when I saw the whispers, when I heard the whispers, instead of thinking that, I'm invincible, I have unlimited energy, I don't need to take rest, I don't need to listen to my wisdom or my body, I can just kind of go with my mind, and that kind of sleep when you're dead mentality, that was really just something that I needed to see, I needed to get reminded of. Like, we know how to take care of ourselves. We know how to be in balance. We know how to be in homeostasis, to be healthy, to be wise. We are wise. We are wisdom. And we can just let our misguided thoughts and our misguided ideas and our social conditioning and expectations and judgments and all of that completely just plow through and override. And for me, it was just a big wake-up call this week to be like, wow, my body's been telling me this for a while, and all it takes is listening. So hopefully this video offers you an opportunity to kind of go inwards and reflect, like, well, where am I overriding the system? Where is the balance wanting to be there, and the health naturally there, and the wisdom always there? And I'm not listening and not paying attention and not heeding what I'm being guided and directed to do, because I have ideas that I should be bigger, faster, more invincible, more quick, more clever, more, able to take more on my plate. And, ultimately, none of that actually works out too well for us in the end. So fortunately, I'm fine. I'm just going to take a few days to rest and recover. But yeah, hopefully you can learn from my mistakes, as always. We're always here to teach and to learn and to share, and really that's what life is about. So thank you for being here. If you like these videos, please subscribe. They come out every Friday. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I love hearing from you guys. And I will be back with you next Friday. So have a beautiful weekend. Listen to your wisdom and take care. Bye.